Hey Nash, what should we make?
I'm craving Chipotle. Let's make some Copycat Chipotle chicken and turn it into burrito bowls with all the fixings.
All right, let's make Chipotle chicken burrito bowls. Welcome back to Chaos Kitchen, where sometimes we like to make stuff that you can buy and show you how you can make it yourself even better. So today we're gonna make Chipotle's Chipotle chicken bowl. It's gonna be good, it's gonna be pretty easy, it's gonna be delicious. So without further ado, let's go. So we're gonna start with our marinade. So in some sort of a container, we start with just the liquid from a can of Chipotle peppers and adobo sauce. And I'm gonna add half a cup of water just to thin it out. A quarter cup of oil, you could use whatever oil you want. Jamie Oliver would probably use olive oil. Yeah! But since we're gonna cook this at a high temperature, I'm using avocado oil. Then about 4 cloves of garlic minced, a tablespoon of Chipotle chili powder, a tablespoon of vinegar. I'm using apple cider vinegar because I want to. But use whatever vinegar you want. You can use white vinegar, it's fine. 2 teaspoons of kosher salt. If all you have is like table salt, I would say probably use like about half. Teaspoon of cumin, a teaspoon of oregano, Mexican oregano if you have it, and a teaspoon of black pepper. And we just get this all mixed up, set that aside. Then we get out a couple pounds of boneless, skinless chicken thighs. You could do this in a bowl, but I already have them in a bag, so I'm just gonna take this marinade and dump it in here. Get all the air out, seal that guy up, and then just give these guys a nice massage, make sure and get them all kind of spread out so every little surface gets some marinade. And then we throw this in the fridge and let it marinate for, I mean, if you're in a pinch, anything is better than nothing, but I would say at least 4 hours. Overnight's probably best, so to the fridge we go. So if we're making a Chipotle Copycat chicken for a Copycat Chipotle chicken bowl, then we gotta make some other ingredients as well. So I love the cilantro lime rice that they have at Chipotle, or I think that's what it's called. I don't know. So we're gonna make it. We're gonna make our version of it. I don't know if it's correct, but it's gonna be delicious, as good or maybe even better. So we start with 2 cups of long grain rice, and then we rinse our rice. You know, just get all that mixed up. Then drain the water, and then we just keep doing this until the water runs clear. And then once your water runs mostly clear, then we're ready to cook our rice. So then with a hot sauce pot on medium heat, I'm using a big wide one just because we're gonna toast the rice before we actually cook the rice. So we're gonna go in with a clove or 2 of minced garlic, and then we're gonna add our rice. And we're not really trying to get any color on this rice. There's certain rices where you do want to get a little bit of color on them, like Mexican rice, maybe Spanish rice, I think. I'm not an expert, so I don't know. But definitely not this one, because this is definitely a very, very white rice when it's finished, so we're not looking for a toast. And then once you feel like your rice has a little bit of toast on it, then we go ahead and add some water. And you could do the ratio technique where, you know, 1 to 1, 1 to 1.5, 1 to 2. I think 1 to 2 is a little bit ridiculous, but I love the way the Asians do it. They do the finger technique. So, okay, so that's not enough. Once your rice is sort of evenly distributed, pour the rice in until you can stick your finger in, and when you touch the rice, it comes up to your first knuckle. Now, obviously, it's not perfect because the distance to my top knuckle is gonna be quite a bit different than some other people's, but this tends to work pretty good. Once your water comes up to a boil, give this a stir, and then we reduce our heat, and we cover our rice and let it cook for 10 to 15 minutes, probably closer to 15, and then leave it covered. And then we just turn off the heat and let it cool without don't remove the lid. This is where a glass lid where you can see what's going on might be better for your mental health. I don't know, but you gotta trust the process. So for now, we just let it cook. And after the allotted amount of time, our rice is nice, and we're just gonna fluff this up. You should use like a fork for this, but I don't have a fork. I don't have a not metal fork, is what I meant to say. Because this is a non-stick pan, so you know, I'm trying to not do the metal thing, you know what I mean. So then we want to go in while it's still nice and hot, go in with a good amount of cilantro. And then technically you just want the juice of a lime, but I'm gonna go ahead and do the zest as well. Give it more of that essence of lime. And then we can add the juice of that lime. Whoops, don't do that. That seems like a bad idea. And then we get that all stirred in. And there we have a bunch of our cilantro lime rice. So then we gotta make a copycat of Chipotle's roasted corn salsa. So we start with some fire, and we take a poblano pepper. Now you could do this in the oven, but I just feel like it's easier to do it this way. What we wanna do is roast this guy till all the skin is like charred black, and then steam it, so we'll get to that. So for now, we're just trying to char it. And it was in the fridge, so it might take a minute, but you know, just trust the process. And then when your skin is mostly blackened like this, let me go ahead and pull this out, kill the heat, stick your guy into some sort of container. A Ziploc bag would actually work just fine, but something that you can seal up. So we're gonna go ahead and put a lid on this guy and then just let it hang out and steam so we can peel the skin off. Then while our poblano is steaming, we wanna go ahead and dice 1/4 of a large or 1/2 of a smaller medium red onion and 2 jalapenos. And after about 15 minutes of steaming, we pull this guy out and then we just pull the skin off. Then once you've gotten off as much of the skin as you're going to, just get rid of the top. And you could pull the seeds out if you want, but honestly, poblanos aren't very spicy. We're just gonna leave them in, but you do you, boo, I won't judge. And we put that into the container with our other diced stuff. Then we get out some sort of bowl and we want to pour in about 2 cups of corn. This was frozen and then I heated it up. You do whatever you want to do. Fresh, frozen, whatever. And then we add all of our onions and peppers we just diced and cooked and whatnot. Give that a stir. Stir it up. And this is obviously gonna be way more than we need for 1 serving. So as is kind of everything we're making, this is just like a big old Chipotle copycat meal prep episode, you know? And then we add the zest of a lime, the juice of that lime, the zest of a lemon. Whoa. The juice of that lemon, a healthy pinch of some kosher salt, a good amount of cilantro. We get that all stirred up. And there we have our Chipotle copycat corn salsa. Set that aside. And at this point, our chicken should be nicely marinated. So in a hot pan on medium-high heat, a little bit of avocado oil, and then we just toss in our chicken. And presentation side on these ones doesn't really matter because we're gonna just chop this all up at the end anyways. So just kind of get them all in there. We wanna get a nice sear, almost a char on these guys. So keep it on medium high. We're probably gonna go for probably 5 to 7 minutes per side. But either way, we wanna go until the chicken gets up to temp. So 165, although it's gonna keep cooking after we pull it. So we can go to somewhere between 155 and 160 if you want. But we're using chicken thighs. So like I said, you can go above and they probably only gonna get better. But for now, we wait. After about 7 minutes, 5 to 7 minutes, depending on your heat, we got a nice little crust plus a char. We're just gonna turn over all of our pieces. And then we're gonna do the same thing to the other side. And then once you guys are up to temp, we can go ahead and kill the heat and remove these guys. And then we just gotta let them rest and then we're ready to build our bowl. And once we've let our chicken rest so that we can cut it all up without losing all the juice, then we just go ahead and start cutting the chicken into bite-sized pieces. Then we take out a bowl with a bed of our rice, throw down a bunch of chicken on there, some black beans that I drained and rinsed, and some of that corn salsa. And we'll go in with a little salsa. And give it a little drizzle of our avocado, cilantro, lime crema that we made in our shrimp fajita video. I'll go ahead and link that below if that's something you are interested in watching. There's a short for it too, I'll put them both. And then we just add some cilantro to this guy. I'm sure I'm missing something, but either way, this looks freaking delicious. So we're gonna go with it. And there we have our Chipotle chicken bowl with our Chipotle chicken, some black beans, our corn salsa on a bed of our cilantro lime rice with a little bit of avocado, cilantro, lime crema. Boom, better than Chipotle. And it's time for a bite. That's what we got. Cheers. The chicken is tender, the marinade's delicious, it's got the perfect amount of heat, a ton of flavor, the corn sauce is amazing, the rice is good, everything's delicious, but the flavor, it's got so much more flavor than like even a Chipotle bowl from Chipotle, and we just made enough for like, I don't know, meal prep for the next, like you got at least 5 or 6 meals there, maybe more, and really not that hard, especially if you skip out on making all the accoutrement and just use regular rice and regular salsa that you buy from the store. Up to you, but either way, even if you do it all, way more than worth it. And you can feed the whole family or meal prep for yourself for quite a few days out of 10. And that's what I think. But hey, let's see what Nash thinks. Hey bud, how you doing?
I'm good, man. I was working on some technology that would allow all dogs to talk to humans. But after hearing what a lot of them have to say, I'm having second thoughts.
Well, check it out. We made all the stuff for these Chipotle chicken bowls you wanted. And of course, we got some dog-friendly stuff just for you. Well, here you go. What do you think?
Oh, that's fire. I love Chipotle, but that is so packed with flavor, I think it might be even better.
Anything you want to say to your fans?
Our greatest glory is not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall.
Nash approves, I approve. Look, this is another great dish. A pretty healthy dish and a freaking delicious dish that you can make for your family or, yeah, like I said, easy meal prep. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate you all. Love you all. If you wouldn't mind taking a second, go like, share, subscribe, hype, hit the bell for notifications, all that good stuff. If there's anything you want me to make, you want me and Nash to taste, go ahead and drop that down in the comments. And hey, if you like this video, go check out some of our other delicious or something videos somewhere around here. And just remember, cook more, eat better, embrace the chaos. That's it for now, folks. Until next time, be good and peace.